Hi everyone, welcome to Cooking with Chef Rich. Today we're going to be making some split pea soup. Yummy, yummy. Winter is upon us and it is definitely soup season. So we're going to jump right in. We'll talk a little bit about our ingredients. Seasonings. I have a teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of marjoram, teaspoon of dry basil, half a teaspoon of cumin, and I may be adding some salt. And here I have 6 tablespoons of chicken base or bouillon. If you read the bouillon that I'm using, it calls for about 5 tablespoons for the amount of water, but I add just a little bit more to pick up seasoning a little bit more. I have 3 tablespoons of chopped garlic. I have 2 large onions, 4 stalks of celery, 4 carrots, and 2 pounds of split peas. Mind you, this is gonna make about 1.25 gallons to 1.5 gallons of soup. Whenever I go to the trouble of making soup, I like to make a bunch. Some of it I'll freeze, some of it I'll give to some friends, but generally speaking, I make a lot of soup when I make. So if you don't wanna have 1.25 gallons and 1.5 gallons of soup, divide the recipe in half and it'll work out fine. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna dice up our onions. Let's put this up to saute. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in here. A couple of tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon and a half maybe. I don't like a lot of oil when I cook. I'm going to put this on the fire to get going. Celery. We cut in half. To dice celery up. The easiest way, just go like that. Okay, add this to our onions. Next we're going to cut the ends off for our carrots. We're going to peel all 4 of our carrots. Once our carrots are peeled, gonna dice them. So once your carrots are all diced, you're gonna add this to the soup. You can also add your garlic and your seasoning. Give this a nice stir. And we're going to stir this every couple minutes until the vegetables are soft. Our vegetables have been sauteing for probably right about 4 or 5 minutes. The onions are translucent now. And now we're going to add our split peas. The split peas have been rinsed. We're going to add our water. I'm supposed to add 12 cups and this was only 8. Add our water. Add our soup base. Oh, by the way, so I'm using chicken soup base. You can add vegetables. You can use vegetable soup base if you want to make it vegetarian. You can use vegetable stock or you can use chicken stock. That'll break up once it gets hot. I am going to stir it and let it cook until the split peas are nice and tender. And at that point, this should be pretty much cooked. See you soon. So our soup just came up to a boil. I did taste the broth. And I added another 2 tablespoons of chicken base just because it wasn't very strong. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it down to low. I'm going to cover it and simmer it probably for about an hour. And I will see you then. So our soup was on the stove for probably about 45 to 50 minutes. And as you can see, almost all the peas have split open and it's pretty much ready. I did take a taste and it needed a bit of salt, so I did add a little bit of salt to it. When you taste yours, if it needs a little more chicken base, you can add some more chicken base. If it needs some salt, I added probably about a teaspoon and a half of salt. You don't want to over salt it, but by all means feel free to add salt or pepper. Now the last thing we're going to do, you can leave it like this and serve it like this, but I like a nice smooth soup, so I'm actually going to puree it a bit. You can use a blender to puree it. If you use a blender, be very careful because it is hot soup, or you can just use a stick blender. Now, if you notice over here, you see some pieces of carrot. I'm fine with that. It's relatively smooth. Some people want it ultra smooth, in which case you just puree it for another half a minute or so, 20 seconds. To me, this looks pretty good. So our split pea soup is done. I garnished it with some diced carrots and a little bit of scallion. Give it a taste. Really, really, really good. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Be safe, everyone.